If I could only figure out how to get my team motivated.
We are never going to get this project done on time.
Oh my god, my payroll numbers are insane. Why are we having all this overtime?
Do you have these or similar employee problems? Do you feel like some of your employees are just there for a paycheck? Tired of recruiting, interviewing, onboarding, and training just to find out you must do it all over again? Then it's time for you to find out how to have outrageously awesome employees. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready because we're about to drop a knowledge bomb on you. Please welcome to the mic the host of the show, the man who puts the human in human resources, the 007 of team building, the emperor of employee engagement, Randy Starr.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new edition of How to Have Outrageously Awesome Employees. Today, we have a special guest that we'll be speaking with for a little bit. Her name is Fatima Punjwani. She is with Nobel Biocare, and she is a senior human resources specialist. How are you today, Fatima?
I'm doing great, Randy.
Great. Awesome. And you are on the West Coast, correct?
That is right. I'm calling from all the way from California.
Wow. Okay. So we are spanning the country today. The way we like to start these is we like to have you tell all of the folks listening a little bit about your background, what you've done, positions you've held, companies you work for, that type of thing. So you can start by doing that if you'd like.
Sure. So I have been really fortunate in working for more than 10 years in the field of HR. I started off with a recruitment headhunting firm where I learned how resumes are screened, how you approach companies to get information about key position members that you are looking after or for your clients. And I worked my way in as a research analyst in that company. Then it helped me get some experience on how to do a recruitment, but it was all based on a headhunting firm / recruitment agency, which is, you will find typically different when you go into a corporate organization and try to recruit for your own people. So there's a shift of perspective when you come to recruiting. And I was lucky enough to get into a corporate organization, which was a mortgage provider called Nobel in Dubai. And I worked with them for almost 5 years, where predominantly I helped them recruit for their entry level, mid-level, even to management level associates. And while I was at Nobel, I learned a lot of other things that evolves around human resources, like learning and development, how to do forecasts of your talent, how to do administrative work like running reports, doing invoices, and it really helped me develop in all those different areas as well. After Nobel, I joined a great organization, which is a subsidiary of Emirates Group, and it's called Transguard. It provides manpower resources to clients who require individuals to come and work for them. It's a labor-intensive organization, and I had the opportunity to bring a lot of changes in my role as an HR manager in Transguard. I had a strong background in recruitment. I had a good knowledge of learning and development, good knowledge of administrative bit, and when I got into this role, I was not only handling associates reporting to me, but I was also looking after an entire business unit and giving them the HR support that they needed to be successful in what they do. And yeah, those 5 years that I spent in Transguard were amazing period of my life, because not only I got to learn my own expansions or the ways that I can learn and do things differently, but I also saw myself grow in the eyes of people I really idealized in the company, which was a good period for me. I have also worked after that for a employees culture changing environment company, which is called A Great Place to Work, and it involves around employee engagement. And after that, I moved to the United States, where I'm working for Nobel Biocare, which is again a brilliant organization. It has a great aim of making people smile by providing them the best high-end dental implants. And I work here with a great team as a senior HR specialist, looking after their systems, looking after their compliances, and helping associates.
That is quite a background. And now, where were you? What was the name of the very first company?
So the first company that I worked with was called AG&M Mac.
AG&M Mac.
Executive Resourcing.
Okay. Awesome. And you actually worked for Great Place to Work.
I did.
And where was that?
And that was also in Dubai.
In Dubai as well. Okay.
The franchise was in Dubai, but the company was originated in the U.S.
Right. Yeah. Very familiar with them.
Oh, great.
So that's tremendous. That's quite a background. What is it about human resources that you found so interesting that you wanted to continue in that field?
It's the fun of having unpredictability. I think that gets me really excited. Given that we're not working with, I'm not working in a field which is predictable because of the fact I'm not dealing with product. I'm not dealing with machines. I'm not dealing with something that is like a service or the services that I provide. I'm dealing with humans. And humans keep changing. I keep changing. The behavior keeps changing. And that unpredictability has a unique way of inspiring me or, tempting me to just stay in this field. Every day I come to work and I learn something different, and without fail, I learn something different from my peers, from my team, from for people I report to or people I don't even report to. It's because we change as humans.
Yes, we change daily, hopefully, for the best anyhow. That's awesome. And yeah, the unpredictability for sure. Anytime that you're dealing with people, even if you're using systems, it's unpredictable. You don't know what people are going to do. So that is a good thing. I think that might be one of the reasons why I've always revolved around jobs or industries that were people or labor intensive, because I like that as well. Tell us what you would consider to be your greatest accomplishment in human resources.
Well, I've had a lot of wins. A lot of them were quick wins in the period of time that I worked in HR. A lot of times were long-awaited wins, but there's something about that question. What brings to my mind is this one particular event, and you need to understand a lot of things led to this accomplishment of mine. And this was just not my accomplishment. It was an entire organization, but a lot of people helped me get there. This was a time when I was a HR manager in TransGuard, and I had 32 people reporting to me. From the time our clients recognized the need of providing bodies or professionals or associates at their place, they reach out to TransGuard to say, hey, I need so and so many people to come work for us. From the time that demand was created till the time an associate was deployed to that client's location, everything that goes through was done by the team that I was managing. And that is from making sure that the vacancy is put into the system, like to that granular details, to the time that the associates actually fly in from abroad if we cannot find the talent within the country, and making sure that their legalities are all taken care of, they've been accommodated properly, they have been trained properly, they have been paid properly. Everything was taken care of by my team. And while all this was happening and the company was growing immensely, we realized that there were a lot of steps that A, were repetitive, B, involved a lot of papers. And the company had a vision to turn into a smooth, more successful way of getting more people into the country, the company, so we could give them out to more of our clients to help them get their jobs done, like for construction, for aviation, cash management. And so the idea of one of our CIOs was to implement a software which helped us do everything that we do, but electronically. Oh. From the time a vacancy was raised till the time someone was deployed, everything was tracked. So this was a beast of all the systems that you could think of. It was an applicant tracking system. It was a system that talked to government websites and pushed data into it by filling it, so less manual entry there. It was an access for candidates to go and pull out any information, withdraw their candidature if they wanted. It was an updated reporting tool which gave real-time information to anyone in the business, where we stand, how many people in training, how many people are on the flight coming here, every single thing. And I was the subject matter expert on it. And it took us nearly 14 months to do our first pilot. And I tell you, the pilot was such a success because these 14 months, we had occasions where I wanted to pull my hair. I wanted to pull someone else's hair out. People wanted to block my access into systems at all, because my aim was to not only tell them what our processes need, but how it affects different other places like immigrations and clients. But also, my aim was to make a robust system which was unbreakable. So something that I couldn't think of, and something that maybe I had missed. I had a team that worked with me, and we tried to break the system while we were making it with the help of the software developers. And I tell you, the prototype after 14 months was such a hit that the company actually started selling that product to our overseas recruitment agencies.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I would say that was like the biggest accomplishment of my life.
So you were developing a piece of software to basically make the company that you worked for paperless and
exactly
be very robust, but you actually created a product for them.
Exactly.
Wow. That's awesome.
And
they let you go?
I was moving to the United States. They made it so difficult for me to go, but yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine. Wow. Well, you mentioned a couple of times that you had a team of 32 people at that organization, and I know you have a team now. Tell us what you do to help your employees grow.
Well, I do not have as big of a team right now, especially people who do not report to me at this point in time. But when I did have, and it literally feels like yesterday, I think one thing that I always did is I allowed them to try, and I allowed them to fail. Wow. And then I allowed them to grow and learn. This helped me. I never worked with supervision of my leader or my manager questioning my moves or not empowering me enough to make those decisions that could help me or the work that I was aiming to do. So I wanted to be same with my team. And right now I do have, I'm in a very small team. It's just 2 senior HR specialists, and then we have an HR coordinator. And she reports to our same manager as we do, but she has a dotted line of reporting to both of us.
Right.
And I have the same approach with her. I allow her to fail, because if she doesn't, she's not going to learn.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like lingering in the background to see, just in case she needs me. I am there to help her out. But I give her that space to grow herself, and that's how I have learned. If I had not made mistakes, I wouldn't have learned anything or had these amazing things to look back and cherish upon.
It is, it's a difficult thing to do, to allow someone under your influence to fail. But
yes.
At the same time, it's difficult, but you know the end result, if that person continues, will be a positive thing. Because I think you learn more when you fail than when you succeed.
Exactly. But then again, if anything led to, let's say, a monetary damage to the company, I wouldn't allow that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't let them, experiment with company's funds or something that could jeopardize the team. I wouldn't let them do that. It's a tricky balance. You have to select the times when you need to allow them to grow and take all the time that they need to grow in that particular area. But then there are times where you need to stand up for the team and the performance that they're up to, and you cannot just let them play around with that.
Exactly. Sure. Of course. Yes. Can you tell us about a time when you've helped a particular employee overcome a challenge?
Okay. So in Great Place to Work, we were again a very small team. So when I left TransGuard, I left them with there were 31,000 associates.
Wow.
So I came from a real big company, and I landed up in Great Place to Work, which was like a temporary thing for me before I moved to the U.S. But we had a very small team. Like, there were days I was just alone in the office.
Wow.
So a team was like 5 or 6 people, but we had a coordinator, like an administrator, who was working with all the management consultants, and she was a new hire. So she was coming from a construction organization into a very employee, high performance, motivating, your clients kind of environment. And it was a struggle for her to understand the passion, the aim that we work with. And second, it was difficult for her, I think, to meet the expectations of the managing director, if I may say.
That's not a good thing.
No, it wasn't. But here's the scoop, right? I had worked with this managing director in the past in Tamil, and I knew her because I reported into her. Right. So I knew her. I knew how she worked. I knew her head was in the right place, her heart was in the right place, and I knew she was very critical as well of people she did not know, because I had to go through that path to prove to her that, oh yeah, I'm worth you keeping me here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would have her come and talk to me, the managing director come and talk to me, how she just doesn't like this new hire that we have had, and she really wants to let her go. And I told her, let me work with her. And I could see that this particular new hire that we had, the administrator, she was trying real hard, but she was just not sending out contracts without errors on time. She wasn't billing people right. The invoices were not done in the right. The tracking was not done. Our sales was not managed. But she was trying. And that's the part that I admired about her, that she was trying. She was taking up the mood swings that the managing director was having, but still she was trying. So I sat down with her after work hours a couple of times, and I discussed with her as to, like, what is the challenges, what is the areas that she's finding it more difficult. And at first, she was like, oh no, everything's okay. I'm just gonna get around it. It's just, managing different tools and different processes. But she opened up, and she told me that when she's trying to do things, she feels like she's gonna let the managing director down, and it just put this pressure on her.
Right.
And so I had to tell her how she needs to work around that, and how she needs to put herself in this Superman mode where whatever she will do is going to get the result that she wanted, and she was not there to impress anyone but herself. And I worked with her with a little bit of technicalities, how to do VLOOKUPs on the Excel so she doesn't spend a lot of time doing it, how to do mail merges so she's not missing out on any billings or invoices, and it really helped her. But just that telling someone, hey, I'm there. I don't understand exactly what you're going through. I needed to connect something that I had gone through in the past with the managing director, but I had to tell her, I'm here. So this is what I can show you to do, but I'm here in the background. And for you to come to me if you need help. I think that helped her. I think that would help me too.
Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes it just takes a pat on the back, or hey, I'm here if you need me. I understand it's difficult. You're new. Everything's new. I mean, sometimes it doesn't take much to really help someone break through. It's like a light bulb goes on all of a sudden, and that's awesome. That's really cool.
Absolutely.
Now, do you do a lot of training in the organization you're in now?
Well, yes, I don't do a lot of trainings, but I am actually the subject matter expert of the new hire orientation.
Okay.
So I'm launching out a new HR orientation for our associates. We're going to change the frequency of it. I'm working with different department heads to see what I could include into this, how I can accommodate the entire orientation that could involve new hires, not only know from the software that we have or the or Workday to see who is who, but actually meet them during this orientation and get to connect with them. So yeah, I'm trying to work that out, but before we launch that, we do run periodic orientations for new hires. It's a little dry at this point in time, but I run that.
That orientation is important.
Absolutely.
Do you, in your orientation, do you do any, I guess what we call culture training, so that the new employee, the new associate understands that piece of the company they've just come to work for?
As a matter of fact, we do not. But it's a real good thought. I should look into that when we are preparing this new revamped orientation. Great point.
So that's my tip.
Thank you.
I get credit for something today.
You definitely do for this.
So tell us this. Tell us, I think I know the answer to this question already, but tell us about your typical day, what you do.
Oh, Randy, there is rarely a typical day in HR. If only my days were typical, I don't know, I probably would have retired. Well, I usually start at 7:30, and no matter what day it is, we always round up for a team huddle, because it's a good way to check everyone's pulse and see what is the most important things we need to get to, and what are the things that we probably missed out. It puts us in the right shift. And again, it brings the team together. So if it's just over coffee or donuts, we like to do that to just check in with each other, let them know what we're working on. If anyone needed help, it is a good time for us to offer help or ask for help. And then we go about doing our daily, unpredictable work. But I do something called as a to-do list, and I've been doing it, I think, since I've left school, and I still do it. And I cross things off, and I write things off, and I highlight them if they are super important. And I go back to my to-do list, go through it, check what are the things that I am going to be working on. And then, all of a sudden you have an ER issue that comes up, or you have a resignation that comes in and you need to, work on, or you actually had planned a new hire to meet them individually to go through their paperwork and stuff. So all the mix keeps you going and on your toes throughout the day.
Yes. I've not had anybody yet tell me anything different to that question. There is no such thing as there's no such thing as a typical day in human resources. None. So I've got one more question for you, and I'll let you go. I know you have some plans later this afternoon with some of your coworkers, so we don't want to hold you up. But if there were someone listening right now to this and they were considering becoming an HR professional or just even getting into human resources, what would you say to them to help them be successful?
I got this advice like sometime in my career. I had made a lot of mistakes since then. Until that time. But this advice had gave me a little perspective. And that was from this great lady. I'll mention her on this recording as well. Her name's Sean Williams. She was the head of HR in Transcat, and she was a great mentor. And she told me, Fatima, mind over heart. And that was just 3 little words, but they made a lot of difference. That is because the field that we work in is dealing with humans, and it is so difficult to not be ruled by your heart when you make decisions. But as any other department or any other field or occupation, decisions need to be made from your mind. And you need to strike a balance of keeping those decisions as humanly as you can and never lose the sight of the humanly factor. So it is a very, very tricky art of balancing the two, but it is achievable. I have tried numerous times to implement it from there on, and I have got some great success, some not so great success, but it helps me. It helps me center down to what I need to do as a profession.
That's awesome.
I think that's what I would tell people. Learn from my advice. It took me a long way. It's still taking me to places, and hopefully it'll take you to places too.
It is, that was amazing advice that you received, as well as amazing advice that you just passed along to everyone. But it's so true. I mean, you are dealing with people, and you're dealing with their lives and things that affect not only their lives, but their families' lives in a lot of cases. So very, very good. That was awesome. Fatima, I want to thank you again. This has been a great interview. You've given many, many great pieces of advice. I like to call them little golden nuggets as we go along here. So thank you again. I appreciate it. I know you've got something to do, so we're going to let you run. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we conclude this episode?
Oh, it was a true pleasure of mine to talk to you, to answer your questions. It just, kind of jolted me up a little bit on my Friday. And so it's just a feel-good feeling. I'm going to end the week on a high note. So thank you so much for doing that for me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It was certainly my pleasure. Once again, thank you very much. For anybody who's listening to this for the first time, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can be notified when we produce another episode and publish it. So goodbye for now.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Please feel free to contact Randy with any questions about team building or employee engagement issues. Subscribe to this channel so you'll be notified when new episodes are published.